What's good, everybody? We here, baby. We here with Big Homie Kev on Postman. I think it might be an echo. Kev, you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think it might be a little. You might have to use your headphones for these ones.
Oh, really? You hear echo?
Yeah, when I talk.
Okay. All right, you still hear it?
Nah, it's good now.
All right, for sure.
All right, let me see. You're supposed to give me. What's up, everybody? We finna get into this game. Everybody got questions? We live and direct. We just trying to make sure this. Okay, good. Everything live. I'm trying to see what we could see. I know we're gonna have 100 and something people on this, man. 150, you say, watching this. And they ready, man. So everybody, you can ask your question. There's a little question thing. If you got a question for me, Big Homie Kev, throughout this whole thing, man, it's interactive. But let me introduce the Big Homie Kev. If y'all don't know, man, this man is a musical genius. And when I say musical genius, I mean on all aspects, as a musician, as a producer, a beat maker, everywhere, every facet of music, in my opinion, man, this guy has touched on. And I'm talking about as far as playing an instrument, plays for 4 churches, been playing the drums since he was 4 years old, plays the keys, kills the keys, makes full beats, makes full production, has produced for the likes of Tank, Chris Brown, Jordin Sparks, Gene record label, and a host of a gang of other shit. And then also sells successfully online, man. Sold a ton of beats online. So I mean, this guy right here it's really an honor to have a producer of this caliber really here on the line and giving game and teaching us how to get our beats to the next level. I've been producing for 10 years myself and worked with a lot of major stuff, and I still learn so much. I consider Kev one of my mentors when it comes to music. I study his stuff. If you haven't got any of his loop packs, he's one of the top loop pack guys right now, man, selling them loops. And to me, is the best. You know, his loops are the best by far, better than anybody that I've seen on the market. Also, he makes drum sounds from scratch. It's just insane how musically gifted you are, Kev. And also hundreds of videos out there for free, just giving game on how to get our beats better and our music better. And that's ultimately what this one is about, how to get our music better and upping our game as far as how to really take our music production to the next level. Because sometimes we can get stunted in our growth. And I'll be asking questions. I got my questions right here. For Big Kev, because when you get somebody like this on the line, you want to definitely make sure you got your stuff, your questions, and ready to get your stuff answered. I've been mentored by some of the great legendary producers, had studios with them, and I tell you, Kev is by far the most generous when it comes to giving out the information. So with no further ado, we got Kev here. Kev, you say hi to the people, man, and what's up, man?
What's up with everybody? Hopefully everybody doing good. This is the Big Homie Kev, man. I'm just ready to go in and, just ask me these questions and, let's get to the next level, baby.
Okay, so, questions already pouring in. We got tons and tons of questions already. Like I said, we got, it's going to be over 100 and something people live on this thing, so we know that. Also, everybody that's on right now, we got something special for you coming a little later. Kev got a surprise for everybody that's actually going to be on and be inspired. We got something special for the producers. You don't want to miss that. So you make sure you want to stay on, because if you miss that, then you get the game, but then you miss the gift. So, we're going to be getting into that a little bit later. But first and foremost, Kev, what got you, let the people know what got you into music production. Like what made it to where Kev said, this is the direction I want to take in my life, music.
Well, I've been in music all my life, playing the instruments at church and all of that kind of stuff. So what really got me into it was, while at church playing the drums, coming up with different drum beats, and then at church playing the organ and the piano, you start to figure out different chords, and I started to mimic, sounds that I heard on the radio. And then, doing that, it started to feel like, hey, maybe I can do this for myself. So, started off getting a little piece, a couple pieces of equipment, and I've struggled for a while, but I started getting my equipment, and the key to my success was when I started, I made sure that first of all I invested in myself, and second of all that I stayed in there making beats. Like that's one thing as producers that we don't really. I mean, you know, we all know that we make beats. We all know that, but most of us, when we start off making beats, we think, well, let's go get this major placement tomorrow. And there's a certain level that we have to build. You know, we all can get there. We all gonna get there, but we have to start creating those beats. So, I mean, I'm talking about every day, every night, I was making beats, and you know, eventually, after years of practicing, I got to where I am now.
I think that's a great point, man. The practice part, you know, like when I first started and young in the game, you know, I realized too, is like nowadays it's a bit different. Guys make beats, you know, like I did a live stream of Mastermind, and you know, some guys are like, oh yeah, I've been making beats for X amount of years, but it didn't sound like it. And because, you know, they make beats here and there, you know, it's like a different kind of era. Whereas when I came up, you didn't do anything but make beats. Like you didn't go out and play, you didn't do, like you just wanted to be in there. You didn't want to do anything but be in there and make 3, 5, 10 beats a day, you know, and then you developed your skill. It seems like nowadays the producers, you know, it's so easy now to get their Fruity Loops, they get that, which is good stuff, but it seems like the dedication to actually learning the craft is kind of slowing down, I'm finding, with the newer producers, where they kind of make a beat here and there and think that that's going to be enough to get them to the level of greatness that they're seeking. You know, could you speak a little bit about maybe why that is, where the newer generation of producers aren't really going in like we used to?
Well, I think really that has a lot to do with, like you said, you know, the access that we have to these programs now. You can get Fruity Loops for free download on the internet. So technically what's happening is people are downloading Fruity Loops and automatically calling themselves a producer, and automatically feeling like, because now they have a program and now they, you know, can just go in, they're producers. Whereas, you know, we grew up on, you know, live instrumentation and, you know, and collaboration and you know, and like just going in a whole different way. So I really feel like, you know, it's a lot of dope producers coming up right now. It is a lot of dope producers, but producers have to really continue to stay and keep the musical element of the music in their beats, because anybody can throw some sounds in a beat. Anybody can throw some sound effects in a beat. And, you know, like we all know, as producers and consumers of music, we press play now, and, you know, sometimes we don't hear these same songs. Like the songs we hearing now, we're not going to hear next year. And so, but what keeps coming up over and over? The old school music element. People sample it. People play it at parties. People listen to it at weddings. So if you really want to get to the next level, keep the musical element of your music in your music. What does that mean? If you have to learn an instrument, or collaborate with live musicians, or, you know, purchase loops, or, you know, or whatever you have to do to, you know, stay inspired, but keep the musical element in your music, and you stand the test of time.
So let me ask you this then, Kev, because you touched on something important, as far as investing in the sound, and they're not really investing. A lot of these guys are kind of downloading the stuff for free, and some guys are investing and, you know, taking it serious. Let's say you a guy who have major placements, you got, you know, major placements pending. I know you don't put everything out there, but one of the major questions that are coming up in the question is about A&Rs and major placements. So that's like a hot topic, you know, because that's the dream, you know, we all have as producers. Now, before we go into actual specifics on how to get placements and all that stuff, I want you to kind of talk about the level of quality of music, and blowing your opportunity. If you know, a lot of these people, oh, I want to get placements. Producers hit me up all the time. I listen to their music, and it's not even at the quality yet where a major would be really dealing with them. So if they even solicited that music, they wouldn't even get a second listen to. And I think that, you know, I want you to touch on like what level of quality of music, and before, you know, before you start approaching these major placements and A&R should you have, and could you just kind of speak on that? What level should they be at?
Well, majors, they only, first of all, you know, they don't give you much respect as a new producer anyway. So when they press play, when you send your music to an A&R, it has to be something about your music that makes them want to contact you back. So to answer your question, it has to be at a high quality professional level. They like to hear, you know, instrumentation. They like to hear transitions. They like to hear dope drums. In fact, that was my main problem when I started. Was I would submit beats over and over, and yeah, me and my homies thought they were cool. Yeah, I had a few rappers on my beats, but when it came to going to that next level, I didn't have the professional drums. I didn't have that big drum sound. I didn't have real instrumentation. I mean, I had little sounds that I put in there from, you know, the program, but it wasn't real instrumentation. And I didn't notice until I started including bigger drums, you know, transitions, you know, just understanding beat rules. I mean, there's a lot of different beat rules and genres that, you know, like to go from an intro to a verse. How long does the verse have to be? These are things that we have to know. It can't just be, I just bought Fruity Loops, I got a few sounds, I'm getting major placements. That's not how it go. And the people that do work like that for, that's one placement and that's it. You don't hear from them no more. So I think it's important to understand that that's what will help you get major placements. See, like to contact A&Rs and all that, that's one thing. That's one side of it. And yes, you do have to do that. But without the quality of music, you can contact the best A&R at the best label. If you don't have that quality, that opportunity is going to somebody else. And so, you know, like you have to have professional quality. What you hear on the radio, you have to not be able to mimic it, but you have to be able to match it.
So it sounds like you're saying that you should make sure first that the music you got a ready catalog that's quality music before you start trying to get to the majors. I feel like it's a progression. Work your way up there. There's a lot of guys that they don't even have indie work. You don't got local work. You don't got a local catalog. You haven't. I mean, a lot of these producers were killing. Like you see Hit Boy, but you don't see the local work he was doing. I know his crew, him and Chasing Cash. We was online together, putting our beats online and hustling. You know what I'm saying? This was years before they got on. So, I mean, a lot of times you don't see that. And so they got these young guys, they just think you just call up A&R and be like, hey, here goes some beats, and now I'm fucking the next Mike Will made it. Not seeing the independent grind and building of this independent catalog, which not just builds your catalog, but also builds your skills behind the scenes. So I think that's one of the things that producers should take away, too. Is you don't have to keep trying to just jump to sending an A&R something and then you get in. I think that's a fallacy that I see producers thinking, you know, dreaming that, but that's not the way it is. I want to transition to a question by Sarah Cook. She asked a good question, and I want to kind of go into this too. It says, do you have any practice or exercise for creativity that you do in order to take yourself outside of the box or from getting stale? Now, that actually coincides with a question I had for you, because I have the same question. And I phrase it like this. Sometimes I find myself doing the same beats I'm comfortable with. How do I break out of my comfort zone and expand my range? Are there some tools I could use, or some type? What do you suggest breaking out of our comfort zone of beat making and then being able to really expand and make our music better?
Well, I feel like when it comes to that, being a producer, it all has to do with your tools that you're using. Like, no, I mean, and if there's anybody that knows beat block, I know how serious beat block is because I've been there. I mean, and you know, and the most important thing is investing in the tools that inspire you and pull something out of you that you wouldn't have normally done before. That's the key. Like, me even being a musician, I notice sometimes that I can put on a certain sample or a certain loop or a certain drum loop. I mean, I know as producers, a lot of us start with just banging on the drums sometimes. Sometimes we'll start with, and then that's another thing that that you can do. You can start with, you know, we normally start with the drums. Try to start with a melody. Use a sound that you've never used before. Use a loop that, like, one thing that I like to do is you know, because I got a large catalog of loops, I like to put like a trap loop together with an R&B loop and then bring it together and kind of see what happens. And then, you know, by doing those different things, you get a different sound and it inspires you in a different way. So to answer the question, it's kind of, it all has to do with the tools that you have to start with. If you have something that's pulling something out of you that you don't normally or you wouldn't normally do. Like another problem that I used to have when I first started out is I felt like I would play the same piano chords all the time. And so what I had to do was I had to figure out through the church how to play different songs and different things. And that's what helped me. But like, especially if you're not a live musician, I would look into collaborating with a live musician or getting, you know, like loops that inspire you or something that inspires you in a different way than you normally inspire yourself. Because you get sick of yourself.
That's a very powerful point. I think, and hopefully everybody here has pen and pad, you know what I'm saying, and writing some of these things down, because if you want to take yourself to the next level, these things that he's saying are very powerful and critical. Just to speak on what you're saying, Kev, I remember when I was studying under the legendary DJ Battle Cat, and we shared a studio facility, and he would teach me things. I remember he got to the point, I mean, this guy makes amazing, incredible music. Not just the music that, you know, people have heard, you know, when he changed the West Coast sound, but I mean, even he makes just incredible music that no one's ever heard. That's just in his studio. But I remember he came and he said one time, man, you know what? I'm never going to start a beat from scratch anymore. And he said that because he had started working with musicians, and he had a musician guy. He's like, yo, this dude's like a genius. And he would have him, you know, he would leave him different loops and create different little riffs. And then Battle Cat would just pull from that, get instantly inspired, and then make a track that was just out of this world. Now, it's not that he couldn't make tracks by himself, but he realized that he was just so inspired when his musician would create something that he wouldn't have created, because the musician is his own person, it's his own man, so he's going to create something totally different than what Cat was going to create. So I just remember that was a turning point in my psychology of a producer when I really started turning to using loops, because it's the same thing. Because I remember going to Battle Cat's studio one time, and he was playing different loops from his musician. Like, man, I would never start another beat from scratch, because it's just too hard. You know, not that we can't do it, but it's just not as fun, man. You don't want to sit there all day banging on keys trying to find some inspiration when you can just instantly click. So that was like one of the turning points that I had when I started to use loops and whatnot.
And if you think about it, that's the major music producer's secret. Because, I mean, we can even go back further than that. Think about Dr. Dre. What was Scott Storch to Dr. Dre? He was piano loop player. And Dr. Dre made hits using Scott Storch's piano loops. The same thing Timberland. Timberland had Danger Hands playing piano and string loops in there for him and pulling creativity out of him that he wouldn't normally do on his own. It's not that he's not a hot producer, because Timberland and Dre are classically trained pianists. So for them to be pianists and to still feel like they have to collaborate with other musicians in order to pull something out of them, that's their secret. That's how they make hits. Imagine having 20 musicians on staff that you can just call at any given time. And they're all in there creating loops for you to go ahead and, you know, and use in your beats. And I mean, man, you'll stay inspired.
It's a powerful thing, man. But that, again, once you get a higher level of music production, you get it. It's about collaboration. It's not about trying to do everything yourself. But when you're a younger producer, you're not mature yet in music, you think it's all about you. Quincy Jones didn't go and play every instrument. It's about bringing together different energies, and you guys collaborate to create this great work. Again, that's something that a lot of younger producers don't know yet. And so a lot of times they like, oh, no, I'm going to just do it all myself, and I'm going to show you how dope I am. But once you evolve past that, it's about making great music, and you realize that connecting and collaborating with other energies that have their own sounds, when you put that together, where you actually create a masterpiece. So we got another question here from D-Rec. Shout out to D-Rec, my man D-Rec. He asked a great question that I think I had on mine as well. What's the best way to improve your music arrangement and composition? And I think Kev is the best person I've ever heard when it comes to transition. I mean, I'll put his transitions and arrangements against the top producers in the game, and I guarantee you, Kev's shit, he takes you on a musical journey. If you haven't heard Kev's music, you got some stuff loaded up. I know we'll be playing some beats and whatnot. Maybe after the next question, we'll have you play a beat or two. But I mean, his transitions are phenomenal. So I'm taking notes right now. What is it that you? I mean, how do you approach your arrangements, your compositions and transitions?
Okay, well, I'm gonna give you a simple way to do it. Now, the best way to do it is, you know how you create an 8-bar loop. You know, create an 8-bar loop, and I mean, you don't have to use that many sounds or anything like that. But you create this 8-bar loop, and then after you create the loop, then you take your cursor and move it over and create a whole new 8-bar loop, but different. Use different instruments and pattern than you use in the first beat. And then what you do is after you start, you know, creating little pieces here and then little pieces there, it comes together, and then you start to figure out what to pull in, what to take out. But that's the secret. Creating two beats in one beat, or even 3. Sometimes I have 3 transitions, because I'll have the beat start one way, and then I'll have it go to a verse section, and then it'll go to a chorus section, and then maybe like well, of course the verse, and then, you know, the chorus again, but then a bridge part, and that'll be a 3rd track. So try this again: 8 bars, create a quick 8 bars, and then take the cursor over, create a whole nother 8 bars, but use different instruments, use a different chord pattern, a different loop, something different. That's the key. It has to be different than the first one, but it has to, of course, be in the same key. Musically, it has to make sense. So, like, you don't just want to throw something together in the first one and then just throw something together on the second one. But create 2 beats, bring them together, and then, you know, like, use different effects to have the first beat go into the second beat, and then you just start pulling from there. You just pull from there.
So it sounds like you're saying you start with an 8-bar, and then you kind of don't add the instruments that you just added in this 8-bar. Sometimes we tend to loop that up to 16 and maybe just add some elements. You're saying maybe use the same drums, but create a whole new track on the second 8-bar. But, you know, nothing, you know, retarded like that. Just, you know, you totally different beat, still in the same realm, but just try something totally different. And then when you sequence the song, you may put that over here at the bridge, but that's how you make it to where it has like a cold transition, a cold drop, where your beat's not just flat and predictable all the way through from beginning to end.
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying. And I mean, see, that like that way you have the listener, like you said, going on a musical journey. And that's what inspires major artists the most, is the transitions. These major songwriters and these major artists, when they hear your beat and it goes from, it starts one way and it just goes, artists are not like us producers. They don't sit and dissect different parts of songs. They just know where to sing. And they want it to be so formatted that even they know where to sing, and it even inspires them to write in a certain way. So, I mean, you know, having transitions in your music is the first key, or the first thing that will help you get noticed as a music producer. Because, you know, taking somebody on a journey musically, that's what people want.
Absolutely, Kev. So, and I want to speak to that. Before I was going to go on, but I want to speak to that as well. A lot of beats I hear too. I get sent hundreds of beats like every day, you know, because I'm the Postman, legendary Postman. So producers send me their stuff all the time, and the main thing is that it's just flat. You know what I'm saying? And I heard a producer say, I want to remember. Oh, it was Timbaland. He said the most important part of the beat is the intro. And if you could speak on that, like, how do you do your intros? Because he said if the intro doesn't catch him, then it's a wrap. So, or was it Tim? Or it might have been Just Blaze. It was actually Just Blaze who said that. Excuse me. Sorry about that, Timbo. It was Just Blaze. He said the most. And shout out to all the producers on the line. We got over 100 producers in here right now. Community's big. Just shout out, man. We out here getting game. So appreciate our producers that's here. We see everybody with their questions. We getting a million questions. But so what about the intro game, man? I mean, how do you do your intro to where it's not boring? It kind of leads in, tells the story. What's Big Homie Kev's approach to the intro?
Well, I have a few different secrets that I like. First, sometimes what I'll do is I might find like a different percussion pattern, like maybe a percussion pattern, and maybe one of the instruments that I use from the beat that maybe I won't use in the chorus part, but I know it's going to come back in. And usually I'll make the intro maybe sometimes 4 bars, sometimes it's 8 bars. So like you can use the same thing as you use when you're making your transitions. Create 3 different parts. It makes sense. So imagine yourself putting 3 piano chords down and then throwing some strings in there, and then you have like an effect that kind of goes, you pan it from left to right. So now musically they don't know what's gonna drop. When that beat drop, now they like, oh my God, like, you know what I'm saying? So now the beat is dropped, and and then you go to another transition part. So back to your question, the intro I think is almost like the transition part. Sometimes I start with, maybe percussions, or I might build it up through the drums, or sometimes I'll just keep it simple and just use an instrument from the original track that I produced, and, maybe chop it 4 bars, and then, come in. I always like to use effects. I always use effects. I like to push the listener into the music versus just, sometimes I'll have an intro where the music just plays and then the beat just comes on, but most of the time, I like to use an effect to go into the intro, and or to go into the beat. So, I mean, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that's just some game I didn't even think about. So basically, move your intros. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go back into some of my music right after this call and try that. Go get your intro, which sometimes realistically we're lazy. We just we put the main melody at the front, maybe what I'm saying, take the drums out, and that'll be the intro. But you're saying add some crazy effects on it just to see what happens, and push the listener in, like, okay, this sounds crazy, and then when the beat drops, it sounds totally different than what they were expecting. So you kind of give them the unexpected and not be predictable. I think that's a phenomenal idea. In fact, the people are here waiting. If you could play a beat, just play one of your beats. We don't have to play the whole thing, but just let's get a taste of what you're talking about. If you have a beat that has an intro or some transitions or some banging drums. And by the way, everybody on here, we got something special for you, for everybody that stays on. If you're able to stay on, so you don't want to miss out. I mean, you're getting the game and all the information, but there's also some gifts we're going to be giving you if you stay on. So you definitely want to be ready for that. So, and I mean, some good stuff, especially if you want to know about getting placements. We got stuff for you for getting placements. We got places that you're going to be able to contact and put your music on television. We got all that stuff for you if you stay on, but if you leave, then you won't get that stuff. This is just for the people that's on. We got about 100 people on, so you definitely want to stay on for that part of it, which is going to be a surprise. So I'm not going to just tell you what time it is. I'm just going to surprise you. We got some stuff for you. So all those questions about A&Rs, how to reach them, we got stuff for that. So Kev, you can, anyways, I digress back. If you can, show them some beats, and just show them a beat. Let's hear a beat, man. I'm sure these guys are dying to hear what the big homie Kev got in his arsenal.
Okay, let's see. Can you hear
it? Faintly.
Oh, okay. Right. Let's see.
I don't think the audio is translated. I think the streaming, it doesn't make so you can really hear the beat.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think, you know what? I was thinking we might have had to do it to where it was on this actual. I don't know if Google Hangout, because you can hear it, but it's still faint. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Yeah, man.
Oh, that's all good. We'll figure it out. What we want to do too is a lot of producers want to post their music for review, so that's a good one too. I want producers, you got the way you post your music, just post a link to the track, and we'll review as many as possible. Just as disclaimer, it's gonna be totally honest. So if you got some weak stuff, it's weak. You know what I'm saying? Don't cry about it. but we're going to be telling you how to improve it. Especially got Kev here, someone to actually listen to it and tell you, what you can improve on. So just post the link in the question box along, and we'll go through it and put your beat out there. So while we're getting people, I know it's going to be a gang of producers putting their link in. We'll go through some more questions. And we got a ton of them. There's like 100 questions in here. So let's see if we can find another good one. There's a lot of questions on selling beats and a lot of questions on getting them out there. So I'm assuming a lot of producers, have questions on actually starting to get income and stuff from some selling beats. And maybe we can talk about that too, Kev, if you can talk about the industry side of it. I know there's positives and there's negatives, and there's a way that you're approaching your music production career. I know you've done music for television, you've done music for major artists, which we all dream about as producers, some of the biggest artists, and then you sold a good amount of beats on the internet as well. So if you could take us through how, let's say, a major placement actually works, because I don't want to deflate anybody's dreams, and I want them to still be excited about it because it is good money. But if you can just talk about the real process, and I think that's what gets left out, the real process of getting a major placement. If you can kind of talk about that quickly.
Okay, so here it goes. So first of all, the way I got my first one, I had a manager, and like my manager actually worked for Chris Brown. So that's the first thing, is you don't want to just have any old manager. You want to have a manager that's connected, and sometimes that takes a while to find. But back to the process is you submit a song. Sometimes you'll be in the studio with the artist when they create the song. Sometimes you won't. I've been in the studio with the major artist sometimes, and then sometimes I haven't. You know what I'm saying? And then, so after they pick the beat, they send you the song so you can hear the song, and you I guess tell them what you want to change or what you like. If you approve it, they send you a contract. Now the thing about the contract is, and this is what's I want you to hear me when I say this. Even when you get a major contract, up until the album comes out, they can still deny your beat. So you're not even solid. Like, I signed the contract and I sent it back to, I think it was Atlantic Records. I dealt with that A&R, sent it to him back for maybe like 3 months. So the album came out in December, and here I am now. This is my first one, and I'm trying to figure out what's, when do I get paid? You know what I'm saying? So again, now they've had the song for maybe 6 months. I don't know if they're going to use the song. In fact, I got a call from the label telling me that they might not even put the song on the album. So now I've done the paperwork. I've submitted the beat. I've listened to the song. I've approved it. I've actually networked with the artist, and now they still might not use the song. So, some time went past, and then they approved me. They said that they was going to use the beat. Now, first it was supposed to be a single, but that didn't happen. So they approved the beat, and what they do is they give you half your money. Now, the first track I got placed was, I think it was like $15,000. So they give you half of that $15,000 up front. And so I got half the $15,000, and then after the album comes out, they have to recoup some money back. So maybe 3 to 4, maybe even 5 months after the album comes out, then you get the other half of that $15,000. Now, so total, you've gotten your $15,000 in maybe a span of, that's almost a year, because remember I said I submitted the beat 6 months prior. So I've now waited almost a year to get all of my money. Then after I get all of my money, the royalties don't even start taking effect until a year later. So that's 2 years that you are now waiting on publishing checks. And publishing checks are great. You know what I'm saying? Royalty checks, period, are great. But it's important to know that when you submit a beat for the majors, it's good, and it's always good to have lots of different things going on as a producer, because you don't want, you almost can't wait on an album. I mean, like, we all want to be, like the major producers, but I'm going to let you in on a secret. There's a lot of major producers right now, and I'm not hating, but they're really literally waiting on the next song placement like you are. So it's like, we're in a better position as music producers, being able to sell our beats on the internet, being able to market, and being able to do different things because we have other things going on now. When the money come, it is now. When it come, it come. Now that's and it will come, but it just takes. Like for me, it took me like at least 2 years, and funny enough, I still get royalty checks from that. So the royalty checks come quarterly every year, but it took me at least a year to get all of my upfront money, and then it took like another year for me to get my major money. So that's important to know.
Wow, that's a very enlightening, because I don't think a lot of producers, especially the majors, they don't really talk about the realities of it like that. And the number one question we're getting is about how do I get an A&R, how do I get a major placement? And it's like we're so programmed for that question and not knowing, like, it's not what you think. I mean, it's great, but it takes so much time. So are you going to starve to death waiting to try to get a major placement? Or I would say you should be doing, like you said, a lot of other things, and the major placement is just the icing on the cake. And I just feel like we're getting too many questions about, oh, I just want to submit to an A&R, I just want to do this. And that's an old way of thinking, and it's a very bad idea to base your whole music production career on trying to do that. And I know producers, you know what I'm saying, I'm the #1 music producer consultant on the fucking planet. You know what I'm saying? So I've been behind the scenes with some of the producers that you guys look up to, and they're struggling. You know what I'm saying? And they've had some great hits, but it's because it takes so long. You understand? I remember DJ Mustard. You guys heard DJ Mustard stuff all over the place, right? I remember he was on The Breakfast Club. You can watch the interview, and they were like, man, how much money you done seen from all this? He was like, man, tell you the truth, I ain't even seen no money really yet from all this work I done did. And he not going to see that money, even though he killing the singles, because that royalty stuff and all that back end money don't take effect to a 1 year after the shit came out, and then you don't even get the royalties. They come every quarter after that. So he's still 2 or 3 years out from seeing all that money from that upfront work. So you got to understand how it works in that industry. And there are other opportunities, like I said, like selling your beats on the internet and getting the independent movement is a great way to get money up front instantly while you're still pursuing the major placement.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, because like when I was getting into it for the first time, I was thinking like every producer, like, when do I get paid? When do I get paid? And to have all of those months, really, that's the reason that I wanted to look into selling my beats on the internet, is because, yeah, I got $15,000 over a year, but I mean, how good is that? $15,000 over a year, that's practically starving. And I mean, like $15,000 up front. They don't write you a check for the whole amount when you give them the beat. They might have your beat for a year before they even give you anything. And then even after that, you have to wait a year to get that first payment. Then it's another year or a few months to get that next payment. And then after that, it just keeps coming. So you figure like somebody like DJ Mustard, I mean, this guy might get $2-3 million, royalty checks, but they come every year. So it's like, it's important to understand and to know that when you submit this music, it's not just something that you just get on. And that's why you see these major these major producers working with Chris Brown, working with Tank, working with Jordin Sparks, working with all of these different people, because they have to figure out how to eat. They have to figure out how to get their money, because it's not coming in like how we all think it's coming in. Some of these guys are eating, but they're so deep in the process of collecting those royalties that, yeah, I mean, you go 5 years collecting royalties at $20 million a year. I mean, man, you fat. You don't care about that next placement.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully that gave you guys some insight from an actual industry insider. Again, a lot of the guys, they don't share a lot of this stuff. You know what I mean? That's why I bring guys like Kev on, who's going to give you the scoop. So right now, let's get into checking some of these guys' beats. I know you guys are the beat critiques are always very popular on these type of streams. Kev, can you see the top where it says the questions? Can you see John Pierre at the top? Does that show up on the screen? Yeah. I pinned it to the top with his link.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's check. I'm gonna check out his music, see what he wants to critique. So if you guys, I'm not sure if the people who can see, if you guys can see what question we pinned to the top. you can go ahead and
now when I put it in, it says we can't find this track.
I'm listening to it.
Oh, really? Okay, here we go.
I really like. Hey, it's really a nice track, John Pierre. You really talented guy.
Woo!
Yeah, everybody got some heat. That boy got some heat, boy.
Yeah. John Pierre got that heat, man. You got that
Yeah.
fire, man. You got that fire, man. You got that fire, man. That's what it is.
I will say, man, when I first started doing these things and stuff, the beats we got were so low budget. Now, like it's like a lot of dope guys in the community, man. Like that's a really dope track, John Pierre. If anybody, hopefully you guys can see what we stuck up there. But John Pierre, let me see if I can share.
Yeah, you could probably share the link.
Okay, yeah. Let me see if I can share the link with the people if they can't see it.
John Pierre, are you a musician?
That's just group chat. I can't share it there.
Oh, okay.
Maybe let me see. I'll share. See, maybe I don't want to share my screen. I don't know what I got on there. I might be like, what's it here? Gotta be careful sharing that screen. I don't know how to get out of that junk. John Pierre guy though, hey, that shit was fire.
Yeah, that shit was fire, man.
Let me see. Let me see. I might have to. Let me see. I think I should be able to enable this. Maybe it's too late. I wanted to see maybe enable. I guess that's under the showcase. But I guess next time we'll do that. Let's see here. So what feedback would you give them though? I mean, that was a hot track, but what feedback would you actually give them?
I think John Pierre has some fire, man. You know what I'm saying? I think he has some fire. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're definitely going in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? You know, one thing I always say, I mean, you either are a musician or you collaborate with musicians because, you know, you definitely understand the arrangements, you understand the intros. One thing I would say is, maybe invest in some high quality loops. That way, you know what I'm saying, to be able to pull from somewhere else, because of me being a musician also, I know how sometimes even musicians start to feel like we're even playing the same chords or the same patterns or the same transitions. And so, like myself, I use, loops. So, just to, and not because, it's something that you're lacking, but because more it is something that will inspire you to take your beats to a whole nother planet, because you know what you're doing right now. You definitely know what you're doing. So that's my feedback. You definitely know what you're doing.
Okay, so yeah, so I agree, man. Definitely know what you're doing. The shit was hot. My only thing is just that, originality. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like, it was safe. You know what I mean? I mean, I hear so many beats. You know what I mean? Like I could pull that beat from you and then pull another beat from another producer. Doing of music production, I kind of look for signature. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I would say now you got the hot tracks down, but now do start to try to implement other things like Kev said, so that way you have a signature. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, okay, we know he can kind of mimic what's out there. That shit is hot as hell. But can we say, okay, this is something totally left field that we know this is him because this is his sound. And if you look at the major producers out there that really kill the industry, they all have a signature. If I played a for real beat right now, you go, oh yeah, that's a for real beat. I know that. If I play a Timbo beat, you go, that's a Timbo beat. If I play a Dre beat, even if I play a Hit Boy beat, if I play a Mike Will Made a beat to go to the younger guy, like you gotta have that distinct sound. And I feel like that you're hot for what you're doing, but I would like to see more risk. Like show me, take me left field. And I go, damn, that dude got a hot sound. That's just my opinion. But other than that, I mean, the shit was fire though. I can't knock the brother's beats. So let's see what else we got here. Frenchie. Let's select. So Frenzy, DJ Minstier. Kev, I don't know if you see that link at the top. We'll check him out. Everybody that's on right now as well, we're gonna have something special for you. So I want y'all to we got something for y'all. Just don't worry, he's coming. But we want to get through a lot of stuff we're getting through now to these questions, man, because this is all about getting your music production career and the music side to that next level so you can evolve. And it only evolves by being able to interact and get information and gain from guys like Kev, guys who've been in the game for a while and who are musical geniuses, and that helps us evolve. So Kev, I don't know if can you see that?
Yeah, for Frenchie.
Yeah.
Okay, DJ Minister.
Yeah. So hopefully the guys out there can see it. If they can, I don't think they can. Because that's the ultimate goal. I want the guys viewing to be able to check it out too, but I don't think they can. Let me see. So we're listening to Frenchie's beat right now.
Okay. Yeah, I listen to the Grind and Pray one.
Okay, that's what I'm listening to too. For me, I guess because we're streaming. I think too, French, you got way too much shit on. You got like 4 players, a SoundCloud player, and Kev, give us some feedback. What can my man Frenchie do to take his to the next level? Shout out to all the 120 producers on the live, man. We getting it in right now. We got something special for everybody that's to stay on. You know what I'm saying? So you want to definitely peep that. What you think, Kev? Give him some feedback.
Frenchie, first of all, you got a nice thing going. What I would say is your intros, first of all, are too long. I mean, to have an intro like that intro was very long, and it was like every time I thought the beat was gonna kick in, it was another 8 bars of intro. So that's number one. Don't ever have an intro that long because, and I'm gonna tell you something else. I remember losing a placement because my intro was too long, and the A&R told me, you know what? I mean, all of your beats on this CD, and I have some bangers. He didn't even get a chance to really give me a fair listen because every song, he never got a chance to hear the beat drop. They won't take that long. An artist or A&R, they will not take that long to listen to your song because they listen to thousands of beats every day. So that's first of all. Now, second of all, you know, like when the beat did drop, you know, the beats did drop, everything sound good, you know what I'm saying? You had a nice thing going. But again, I think back to the originality, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, you know, a lot of these, you know, the beats, I feel like, not like I've heard them before, but like I know what's going to happen next. And you know, like a lot of it has to do with the drums. You know, a lot of the drum sounds that a lot of producers use are kind of all the same. They don't have any real character. They don't have something that our ears have never heard. See, the music we're listening to now was created maybe a year or even 2 years ago. So when we create beats, we have to create music now for 2016, 2017. So it has to sound like something that is different. You know what I'm saying? You know, a trap beat is gonna sound like a trap beat. An R&B beat is gonna sound like an R&B beat. But every beat that you create needs to sound like you created it, like how we told the last guy. I mean, you know, like, so I would say, you know, update your drums, get some banging drums that's gonna make you do something different. Take your intros down, and you know, man, you'll be all right. You definitely going in the right direction, man. And I congratulate you, my brother, for even submitting your beat, because you know you definitely know what you're doing. But make them changes, and you're gonna make bangers.
Hey, I totally agree. I really like your beats, man. I really think you're talented. Like I said, I can tell by the quality of producers we have in the community now. I really liked it, man. Intro, man. I mean, I dozed off and woke up, nigga. This shit was still playing the intro, bro. Like, you gotta cut that shit down, like, dramatically. You know what I'm saying? Like, it should just hit them and then boom. You know what I'm saying? Knock their ass out the park. You know, I really liked your music, truthfully. You know what I mean? I don't say that often because a lot of producers' music, you know, they're still up and coming. But you really had good music, good instrumentation. It was kind of slow. You know, like I said, it was. I don't want to use the term boring, but it could get boring. You know what I'm saying? It was like, okay, I know what's gonna happen here. Jan, he gonna throw his little drum in right here. Okay, he gonna do a little change up, and then one of the beats I listened to, though, it sounded like it was like 2 beats in one. I don't know what that was, but I liked it, man. You just gotta like tighten that shit up, man. Tighten that shit up, like boom, bang, bust him in the mouth, bust him in the mouth. But the drum sound to me is the thing that I want to touch on, that you touched on, Kev. It sounds like all these guys are using the same drum sound. Timbaland did an interview with the Breakfast Club. I suggest every producer watch it. It's on YouTube. And he was talking about that, like, yo, every producer using the same exact drum sound. Like that's crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, those are the same drums we just heard in the last guy's beats. You know what I'm saying? Like the same exact drum sounds that I downloaded 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? The same one. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's one of the problems. I think that you guys gotta stop using those same ass drum sounds, because it makes your beat sound the same. You know, he was using the same snares that the other guy used. So that's one of the things that I would say. You know, just get your sounds to that next level. So we got him. Let's get to the next. Keep running through. Let's do 2 more, and then we'll get back into answering questions, and then we'll give you guys a surprise gift for being on here with us and taking the time to be here with us on this Wednesday night. So you got the top one, Kev. I put it up there. This is by William Thomas. William Thomas.
I don't see that one. Oh, okay. Here we go.
You got it up there now?
Yeah. The one thing I can say is you know, like, producers is doing the damn thing. I mean, because like you said, you know, like, you hear a lot of beats. I get a lot of beats also. And, you know, it's a lot of producers that you can tell are in the beginning stages. And a lot of you producers, man, are really, really doing the damn thing. So don't take the criticism as you not doing the right thing. You guys are doing the damn thing.
Oh man, by far, like I'm shocked at how high quality this music is. Like, it's some dope ass producers in here. Period. You know what I'm saying? Only thing we're doing is like, okay, we can't just kiss your ass though. We got to tell you how to get to that next level. You know what I'm saying? Like the next level musically. You know what I'm saying? That's your next level. Is you got the shit down. Let's expand your range. Let's take it out of what, you know, we just hear on the radio from everybody else, and let's take it somewhere else. Jazz Cypher by Willie T. Let me throw some headphones in so I can hear that bass. Sometimes I gotta hear that bass. to know what we're dealing with. And I can't get this headphone shit. This circle's broke. Okay. So Kev, what you got for us, Kev?
I think that beat, it has a nice groove to it. You know what I'm saying? It has a nice groove to it. The first thing that I saw is it just kind of stays the same though. It kind of stays the same throughout. I didn't hear the whole track, but for the time that I listened to it, it stayed the same. I mean, nothing really changed. I would say that update your drums, definitely update your drums, because the drums are the most important part of your beat. The drums are the most important part of your beat. There's not an A&R that will listen to your music if he hears any weak drums. They cut it off immediately. They don't even give you the chance. So I would update the drums. I would also look into, maybe, I like the bass line that you did. I like the, I don't know if that was a sample or it sounds like a real live guitar player. I like what you did there. But I would look into also getting some loops that would inspire you in a different way. Because, I'm guessing that, I wouldn't say every beat might sound the same, but you have this thing that you do. And, like kind of sometimes, and I have to do it too, we have to break out of what we do and pull something in us that's not what we do. That way, it takes our music to a next level every time. So you, with some dope drums, exclusive drums that inspire you, and some loops, some maybe, maybe some. It sounds like you make, nice smooth R&B or, just some hip hop stuff. Some nice loops that'll inspire you that you can chop up and make yours. It'll inspire you and take your music to the next level, man. But I like what you're doing. You just, I would say update the drums and, collaborate with another musician or, get some professional loops.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I love the, I have a sensitive spot for smooth R&B, fly music. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you're evolving into that. The beat point blank was just too boring. You know what I'm saying? We got to be straight up with you. Just like that down, like you had the cool melody going in the intro, but that's what you did. You just had it going and it just went all the way through. You got kind of lazy. You know what I mean? Let's just call it what it is. You got kind of lazy making the beat. I could just loop this, copy this here, the next 8 bars. So the drums, you know what I mean? The drums were they were what they were. I know what you were trying to do, and I really like your idea. You were trying to go for that live drum feel. You understand what I'm saying? So it was different than the 808 boom boom. So I liked it, but it sounded like they were like stock drums from somewhere. It sounded like you used Reason stock drums or something to do it, and it didn't cut it. You know what I mean? But I liked where you were trying to go with it. Just keep. My advice to producers like you, just keep making beats. You know what I'm saying? Because that just sounded like you need to continue to practice to get an ear more for what makes more sense. Because that was a good start. I would say that was a good start. Like that track, I would have started, but it didn't. It's not a complete track. Like you want to go back in and fill up more instruments, put more swang into it, put more things to make it more exciting. Because otherwise, people will just fall asleep. You know what I'm saying? And that's the key. It's like, especially dealing with artists, man, like are thinking like a producer. They're a different bunch. They want you to hold their hand. I remember I gave a beat to an artist, a banging beat, and he was just like, "Man, I love the beat, but man, I can't understand where to start, where to stop, where's this." So I can't get it. You know what I'm saying? So you want to really lay it out by having breakdowns and different instruments and whatnot to really signify where they need to jump in at. So that was William Thomas. Thanks. We're gonna get to more beats as well, but we want to get back to some questions. You guys are asking hella questions. We got like fucking 1,000 questions, and we want to make sure. And this is to help you evolve. That's the whole goal: to give you the information to get you to the next level musically and in your music production career. That's the goal for this here. We also have some stuff that some gifts we're gonna give you as well. But ultimately, I would say get Kev's the Beast loop pack. His loop and drum pack, by far, he got R&B loops in there and drum loops that will take you to the next level. So I would say unleash the beast and get Kev's. I mean, because as soon as I touched that unleash the beast, I went straight to the R&B loops. I think you had like fucking 30, 40 R&B loops in that joint, Kev. In that beast, how many R&B loops did you have in that beast pack?
In the beast pack, I believe it's like 50 loops.
50?
Yeah, I think it was 50 in there. I think
Yeah,
it was
50. Then also it came with like you had some bonus loops. I think all together was like maybe 70 just R&B loops. You know what I'm saying? And I mean you'll be in there for days, you know, with new ideas. I think that's what you need. And also those drums, man. You had like fucking 200 drum sounds in that joint. I think that's where I would go if I was you. Would go ahead and get that, unleash that beast. Because if you ain't got that beast, man, you don't even. Somebody asked that too. They said, what's the next library they should get? I would say, I know Kev, you know, he's not going to try to gas his own self up, but I'll say you need to get his beast, because there's nothing out that I've ever used. I got the beast, what was that, 6-7 months ago, Kev? I still haven't gone through that whole thing. I still go in there and pull new stuff from the beast all the time, bro.
Man, that's why it was created, man. It was created with the producer in mind, man. I mean, it's about staying inspired, not just getting inspired. Staying inspired. It's easy. Anybody can get inspired. But as producers, as creators, we have to stay inspired so we can pull out all that fire and, you know, unleash the beast.
Okay, somebody's obviously exclusive. I want to get into yeah, unleash that beast. If you ain't got that beast, then you tripping. You need to get it now. Don't even wait. Get it now. But if you are a versatile music producer like myself, it's just something I want you to touch on, Kev. Said this was from obviously exclusive OE Beats, and I think I've heard OE Beats before, and he's actually really dope. If you are a versatile music producer like myself, am I at a major disadvantage or advantage or disadvantage in comparison to a DJ Mustard per se? I notice those kind of producers get discovered much faster, but don't last very long. I have my own sound, but in many genres. So this is what he's asking, Kev. This is a great question, and I want to throw my input and get your input. He's basically asking, hey, I make different genres of music, and it seems like the guys like DJ Mustard, who makes one distinct sound in one genre, seem to pop off more than guys who can, you know, do everything. And like you got Mike Will Made It, he does the trap, you know, he has that trap sound. You got Hit Boy, who has that hip hop sound, you know, it's real distinct. He's saying he had a disadvantage because he can make all different types of genres. I'll give my input, and then Kev, you can give your input. They may vary when we see different two sides of the coin. From my perspective of dealing with producers, I say you're at an advantage and a disadvantage. But the advantage is that you can try different things to pop off, but ultimately once one of your sounds catch, that you're going to be in the same pigeonhole, right? You're going to be in the same, like let's say you do trap, you do pop, let's say, but your pop is what pops off. Then everybody's going to come looking for that sound that's hot. So you're going to pigeonhole yourself. Like if we go in the Mike Will Made It studio, he probably has all different types of genres of music, just like you do. I'm sure there's not many producers who just sit there and make one sound. But if that's the sound that's in demand, that's the one that you're going to get. So DJ Mustard, he may make great R&B music. He may make great country music. But you're not going to know that because what's in demand is that specific type of music. So it's an advantage to make different types of genres because you have more opportunities to pop off. But then you just got to be smart. Once you pop off with a sound that everybody wants, then you go to that. If you look at the Neptunes, a lot of people don't know their first placement wasn't even hip hop. Their first placement was R&B, and it was a nasty track. I think it was for I want to say SWV. It might have been SWV or 7, one of those girl groups, like way back in like '93. That was what they were, R&B producers. It didn't really pop off like that until they started doing the hip hop. That's what really popped the Neptunes off. So then they had that whole era where they were doing like you know, the Norier, the Clips grinding, that sound or whatever. But a lot of people don't know they were well versed in R&B first.
I would say well, I would say you're at an advantage, and here's why you're at an advantage. Because just like Postman said, when that one sound pops off, see, that's the thing. The advantage you have is there's a lot of producers that can only create trap beats. I mean, they can do all of these other beats, but they're not as strong making an R&B beat as they are making a trap beat, and that's understandable. So and like he said, let's say your pop stuff starts popping off, every artist is going to gravitate towards that sound, and they're going to work that sound for a long time until someone else comes with a new sound, and then they work that sound for a long time. So that's the advantage. And another advantage that you have, since you're so versatile, is you can have other things going on. Like, because I play the keys, and because I've been a musician in churches, I'm able to, go in, like I have something that I used to sell to different schools in my area. My kids singing like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, like, just different nursery rhymes. And because we're versatile, we can create children's music. We can create television music. We can create film scores. We can create, like, you're really at an advantage to the whole television side, because a lot of music producers can't compose. They can't do different things. And you're really more valuable to a TV music supervisor, because he can go to you. And if he can go to you and get kids songs, R&B songs, hip hop songs, and all of this from one person, you're at an advantage. So I would say it's an advantage. I mean, that's like, as far as one sound, that's with anybody. If I made a beat today that everybody popped up and everybody liked it, and that was it, and that was the new sound, then everybody would want this same sound. So DJ Mustard probably don't even like the fact that he got to sit and make this same sound. He's a producer. I know he probably don't. But that same sound is paying his ass. So it's like, he's just getting his money.
Absolutely. So we're basically in agreement there. You know what I'm saying? Look, being able to be versatile is definitely an advantage. When you pop off and they want that one sound, everybody gonna say the same shit about you. You can't do nothing but that one sound, because that's what they're hearing from you. So just, be with that. Somebody actually posted, Kev, a luxury loop beat. I guess they might have used the Beast, and they want feedback on their actual track that has one of your loops in it. So I'm curious to hear how that beat sounds. Do you see it up there?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see, and maybe I know you've made like 1,000 loops. Maybe you'll recognize it. Do you recognize that loop? I don't recognize it.
I don't recognize it either, but
I think we got duped.
Yeah.
That ain't no luxury loop beat, man. Why you playing, man? I would say that shit don't sound like no beat. No, did you recognize any sound in there as yours, Kev? That's Christopher Gordon.
Yeah, I mean, unless he may have changed sounds around or kind of, I don't recognize any sound in there. Maybe if anything, it would be the bass line, that maybe it was something else and you probably changed it to another sound or something like that. But, yeah, I don't recognize the loop. I mean, but I've done so many. I mean,
well, the funny thing is, man, that's the whole point of a luxury loop, though, right? Is that you can't recognize it. That's what I loved about your loops too, Kev, was that I can take it and change the sound and change stuff, and no one knows that it was a luxury loop. You know what I'm saying? Because it sounds totally different than what anybody else would do with it. Because it's so customizable. Whereas I used to get other loops and they only gave you the wave files or whatever, or just chopped up files, and you couldn't really do nothing with it.
Right. I mean, that used to just piss me off as a music producer, getting loops that I couldn't do nothing with, because it's like, you get them, you inspire, and they don't inspire you. I mean, and I think the problem with that is you know, a lot of these loop packs are made by technicians. They're made by guys that just throw something together to sell to music producers versus having a live musician. And the difference is when it's created by a live musician, it has a certain swing, a certain swag. Every instrument is not on the one versus everything being on the 1, on the 5, on the 9. It's not so on, I mean, you know, which really kind of adds that live element to your music. And now that I'm thinking, maybe it was that bass line that you know, Chris, that, you know, that you probably changed to another sound. I didn't notice none of the other sounds, but maybe that bass line was played, you know, to where, you know, now that I'm thinking about that, that's crazy.
Oh, okay. So, I want to touch on the question you just talked about, which was the swag and swing of the beat. You know, how do producers go about? Shout out to all the 120-some producers. That's crazy. We filled up in here, man. 120-some producers on this thing live. We got something special for everybody on here. Just hold your horses. I know, you know, we run through everything. Kev dropping game. We got something special. We're gonna allow you to get your hands on that beast. I'm telling you, it's a beast, man. It's like 685 loops and drums. Crazy. But anyways, Kev, how do you make it to where, you know, our beats aren't stiff, to where, you know, a lot of times you hear beats on the radio and they're really swinging, you know what I'm saying? Like they got a flow to them. And sometimes, you know, when I make beats, sometimes I'll be like, that's not it. It doesn't have that groove, and it's kind of stiff. And especially when I use loop packs from a lot of these companies, they're like really stiff, like a robot, almost like a technician made it. What's your secret to making beats that are, you know, have that groove and that flow and not just like a robotic sound to them?
Well, first of all, I will say turn the quantize off. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing, is like especially when you program your drums, turn the quantize off. Because if you think about a live musician, think about a live drummer. When he's playing the live drums, you might see him with earphones on in a live concert, and he might just be listening to the metronome. But he's not just playing directly on the beat. He's playing what he feels. And so when it comes to making beats, you don't want everything to be on the one, right on the one. You don't want everything to be programmed, because then it sounds like a computer. So one thing I like to do is I like to turn the quantize off, and sometimes I like to delay my chords when I'm playing my chords. So I'm slightly behind the metronome. I'm not just right on. I'm kind of behind it just a little bit. And once you start doing that and you perfect it, it starts becoming natural. And then you start listening to different, like think about songs like D'Angelo, How Does It Feel? That beat is not on the one. It's kind of behind a little bit. And it makes it swing in a way that you still nod your head to the beat. And everything is on, but it's off a little bit. So even when you put your snares in, have, you know, like put the snare and you see it on the one. If you put, you know, maybe another, like a clap on top of your snare, have the clap be slightly behind the snare a little bit. That way it'll kind of have like an effect where the snare hits first and then the clap. So it's kind of like a, you know, it's kind of like a and then, you know, and then now your drums is swinging in a whole different way. Your beat is gonna swing in a whole different way. So I think when people quantize their beats and just, I mean, I like to use the quantize for certain things. For hi-hats, I like to use the quantize. But for like kicks and snares, sometimes I just take it off. And then just be able to use what you have, your abilities, your mind, to be able to go ahead and put that beat. It'll still be on, but it'll be off just a little bit, and it'll sound right.
Wow, hey, that's an amazing technique. First of all, if y'all don't have a pen and pad, you didn't write that down. You need to write that down, because that'll take your beats from here to here, because that's very important, man. That's the little nuances of beat making that takes a producer from being good to great, that a lot of guys don't know. And a lot of these producers that are you know, at the top, they ain't telling you their secrets. I'm telling you that right now. So let's get to some secrets. You know what I'm saying? Let's give these guys some secrets that the super producers ain't gonna tell them when it comes to beat making, because they scared that, you know, you may start competing with them. So one of the things that I want to ask you about is melodies. You know, how do you come up with great melodies? What are some ways that you can, you know, make a melody? You know, even, you know, sometimes you sit there and you're kind of stuck, or you may be tinkering with them, and it's not really inspiring to you. How do you come up with great melodies? 'Cause I mean, if you've made probably 1,000 loops or so, and you've made tons of tracks. You've come up with some crazy melodies. How do you consistently, continually come up with great melodies?
Well, I mean, first of all, it has to do with, with the instrument selection that I choose. I mean, it's just, you choose the right instruments that go together. That's first of all. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you have instruments that go together. For instance, there are some instruments that just don't go together. There's a lot of things that causes beat block, and mostly it's either the drums or the melodies. But 9 times out of 10, it's probably the melodies because, sometimes playing the same thing over and over, it will start to feel stale. We don't know what to do. We don't know what to pull. And if you have anything to pull from, you really can't do what it is that, that you're trying to execute. So one of my secrets is I like to, start with instruments that I wouldn't normally use. Like if I start off with a string sound, when it comes to the lead sound, I may use another type of sound. Or, or I might, play one chord and then have another chord, going a different way, or a different, basically almost playing the melodies like percussions. That's another thing that I like to do is, how a percussion instrument will, you will hit a shaker and it'll go. What if you started out a synth note and just went dun, 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 and then added a string note on top of that to complement that synth note, and it's doing a different melody, but now you're kind of playing with it and acting as if the melodies are drums. And by acting as if the melodies are drums, you just start to hear it a different way. You start to play it a different way instead of just laying some piano chords, laying some other chords, laying another instrument. You know what I'm saying? We kind of get programmed and get stuck in doing the same things because it's different techniques that other music, like Polo the Don, for instance. Timbaland, they play a lot of their synth notes like drums. They play a lot like vocal effects and all of that kind of stuff. It matters, but the melodies, I mean, man, crushing the melodies on top of the drums, I mean, that's the secret to making a hit. That's one thing that I learned from Darkchild when I was working with Rodney Darkchild Jerkins. He told me 2 distinctive sounds on top of a banging drum pattern is his formula to make a hit. He actually said 2 to 3. So you imagine doing the same type of string melody or the same type of piano melody. Well, try to do a different type of synth, a different type of piano, or a different type of guitar, and try to play that note as a percussion or even as a hi-hat. Just try something different. It's just about trying something different. So I like to, pull different sounds together and play them as drum sounds, especially when I'm creating loops, because I understand that the producer has to be able to hear that swing and has to be able to understand where to put the drums. And so, I like to accompany the music producer by playing my notes as percussion.
Great advice. So we had another question. I was waiting for this question, Kev. Someone said, Infamous Lovo, and I love this question, right? He said, what happened to being original and not using loops? So, that's a great question. I want to touch on it, Kev. I know you, because there's this kind of perception that if you use a loop or whatever, you're not creative, you're not, usually, I'm to be honest, I hear whack producers saying that. I never really heard no hot producers saying that. But they always, it's this question of, you being original? Well, the funniest thing is, the original hip hop with loops. They started out with looping music samples. So how could you say it's not original when the whole genre was created of hip hop of looping samples? That was where the foundation of. So we've gotten so far crazy that now people are saying what the original producers did is no longer original. It's a more original not using loops. And so I want to touch on that. That's usually what beginner producers think, or whack producers. That's usually how they think, because they're like, well, I got to create everything from scratch. And when you start dealing with major producers, is Quincy Jones not original? Well, you know that he used loops. He used other musicians to create musical loops, and then he would put them together and create a grand track. So you're not using loops, just looping it and saying, here's my beat. You're adding your own elements. It's just like collabing with a musician. Because I'm a musician, but not a great musician as Kev. and he's going to do things that I'm not going to be able to do. And I'm taking his energy now. Physically, Kev can't be in the studio with me every single day, right? So instead of that, now we have digital where he can now just drop me off a pack. Now I got 50 of his hot loops, and now I can begin to work from there. It helps me with my creativity because I am being original, because I'm not doing the same old shit I've been doing all the time. Now I'm connecting and collabing with another energy. And now our sound together is going to make something that never been done before. And I couldn't do it all on my own. That's a fallacy that I see producers make. And I see that argument. Like I said, usually it's not hot producers making that argument, because I'm just not to diss Brother Infamous Love, but generally when I hear that, I go check their music. I'm saying, okay, what do their music sound like? Because Timbaland uses loops, Dr. Dre uses loops, Pharrell uses loops. All these guys use loops, and all the loop is not something mystical. It's just a musician giving you a stack of melodies, as opposed to just being in the studio playing you one melody. So if you don't collab with musicians, then what are you doing? You're just sitting in your dark corner trying to make beats on your own and not collabing with other energies. You're not really a producer. You're not even really a producer at that point. You're just some guy in his basement that just keeps making music that he thinks sounds good, and not really expanding yourself and really getting the best sound possible that you can create by collabing with other energies who may be better than you in that area. I don't play keys like Kev, so I want me and Kev to collab. So I look at loops as just collaborations. I don't look at it as you're making a beat for me and I'm not being original, because I'm going to take that loop and flip it more than somebody else is going to flip it way differently. So that's my take on it, Kev. Now you can give your take on
it. Just like you said, I mean, you have producers like Quincy Jones collaborating with other musicians, made all them hits for Michael Jackson that people are still dancing to today. That's the perfect example. We don't even have to go any further than that. How can that? I mean, he's being original because every time he sits down to create, like Postman said, he's creating something and pulling something. See, producers say that because, I mean, it's just a myth. It's almost like the same myth that producers feel like if we stay up all night making beats, that's what's going to take us to the next level. It's a myth. You can stay up all night for the rest of your life, and that's not going to be the thing that's going to get you a placement. But being original is about you being creative. Using loops is another form of being creative. Using loops is the same thing as creating a beat. It's not the same thing as creating a beat from scratch, but think about it. When you create a beat from scratch, that's when beat block comes. That's what causes beat block. You use the same instruments, the same sounds, the same drums. They give you the same feeling. You play the same chords, and you wonder why you feel like something else needs to happen. That's because there's something missing in your creativity, and you need something to pull you. And I'm gonna end it with this: if Dr. Dre, hitmaker, Timbaland, hitmaker, Quincy Jones, Hit Boy, Kanye West, hitmakers. If the hitmakers are doing it, how can it be cheating? DJ Mustard, he's not even playing all those parts in the studio by himself. He has live musicians that inspire him. Every producer needs, I mean, what do you think sampling is? It's the same as you taking a loop from somebody else and chopping it up and making it yours. Are you doing with, matter of fact, using loops is the same thing as sampling. So if using loops is cheating, the same people ought to say sampling is cheating. And it's the same exact thing. You're pulling from somewhere that inspires you. Now think about a sample. A sample is going to give you those brass notes, those horn notes. Whatever you pull from that sample is going to speak to you in a way that without the sample, it wouldn't have spoke to you in that same way. It wouldn't have made you pull these drums. It wouldn't have made you use these sounds. So it's just a way of being creative. No, it is not it is not cheating. You're being original because every time you create something, you're creating something brand new.
Absolutely agree, Kev. I mean, we just get that. I get that so many. I just had to crush that one because I see that sometimes on the Facebook. Guys hit me up. I'm like, man, you don't even know the first thing about music production. That's how, but then the sad part is they try to discourage the other producers. That's why I wanted to go hard on them, because they discourage other producers. Like, oh, man, why you ain't original? I'm original, man. I don't use loops. Then you hear their music and the shit be so whack. And I'm like, well, bro, you should start. You know, maybe you can actually make some quality music. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want to, that they're kind of, that's bad information they're giving to the younger generation of producers or the newer producers, which is going to stifle their creativity. And like I said, I don't want the young producers or the newer producers to start listening to that crap, because it's going to stifle their creativity. There's a reason, like I said, when I was under Battle Cat. Now, everybody can't say it. You've been under Ryan Darkchild Jerkins, legendary. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can say they've been under super producers. I have, and you have too. And trust me when I tell you, when the man tells me he'll never make a beat from scratch again, that's what he said. You understand what I'm saying? He said he'll never make a beat from scratch. He's always going to start with some kind of loops. And in fact, he had got some loops from 1500 to nothing. You know, I probably shouldn't be putting all this business out, but you know, 1500 nothing was using loops. They was excited. You know what I'm saying, I'm just putting it all out there. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm inside, whereas the other producers aren't inside. And I'm just giving you the real game, because a lot of these producers who ain't never done nothing and been nowhere, they spewing these ideas that are hurting the other younger producers coming up, because they're listening to these guys who have never even, never even come close to being and have any credentials to sit there and say this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I wanted to go hard on that. Now, I digress from that. Talking, D-Rec, my man D-Rec asked, I think you got another question, but 10 people put the plus sign on this question, so I guess a lot of people had this question. How do you get music directly to TV/film music directors? I know Kev actually has a video product that I suggest everybody get, and I'll tell you where to get it on here, Kev. Maybe we can throw it to him as a bonus, which it actually explains exactly how TV placements work, and it gives you 7 places to submit music. Now, we can't get into all that here because we don't have enough time. In fact, we got about 23 more minutes. But I got a lot of TV placements myself. Like, I get royalty check. I just got a royalty check in January. There's no better feeling, let me tell you, than when you, because I don't even keep the royalty schedule. I don't give a shit. I just wake up and there's money. I got one account that my royalties go to that nothing else is hooked up to. So I got a bank account that just my royalties go into. And there's no better feeling than waking up. Sometimes I check that account and I go, oh snap. It's like a fairy every 4 months comes, or every 3 months, I should say, every quarter comes, and or is it every 4 months? I don't even know the schedule. They just, every couple months I look and there's more money in that account out of nowhere. And it's work that I did. Literally, I dropped these beats off in 2010. That's the last time I submitted music to television, was 2010. It's 2015, and I still get checks in every quarter. So I mean, it's a wonderful thing. Like you know, a lot of y'all chase major placements. I would say getting that TV music is a good revenue stream to get into as well. You know what I'm saying?
I would say TV, man, go there first, because the major placements sometimes, you know, because it like go towards the major placements, but the television placements, think about it. There's a lot of different income. I mean, everything we do is around music. I have music that when people walk around Walmart, my music plays. I have music when people go in Starbucks, my music plays. I mean, I have, and I've never put this out there, but I'm gonna put it out there. I have music in a few pornos. You know what I'm saying? But because, you know, people accept and they pay for music. And, you know, and then I have like music in, you know, like a toy overseas called the Beetle Light. When they squeeze the toy, my music plays. So think about that. Like TV music. Now there's a lot of ways you can get your music to TV and professionals. I've tried a lot of different things. One thing I used to do was, you know, when you watch a television program, whatever TV shows you want to submit your music to, I used to go and find the music supervisor's name, and then find him on LinkedIn, and then follow him on LinkedIn, and then establish a relationship that way. And then, you know, also they have like these film directories. You can type in any search, Google search, and, you know, like another thing, I purchased film directories. They give me thousands of music supervisors, you know, their addresses, their phone numbers, you know, and I mean, if you want to go through the cold calling, now this is, I'm like you, I haven't submitted a track for TV. I don't even know when the last time I did that. I don't even know, but I still get royalty checks. So, you know, you can do that. And now with Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, it's the easiest way to contact anybody, right? You can follow. Now, what you want to follow, you don't want to follow, you know, you got to follow music supervisors. They're the people that's putting music on television. They're the people that's responsible for the music. So if you want to follow anybody, find music supervisors. You know, and what you want to do is you don't just want to approach these guys like, hey, I got music. Hey, here, check me out. Nobody will listen to you. They already have lots of music producers that they can go to. You want to approach them in a different way. In fact, approach them in a way of, you know, what can I do to help you? Is there any music that you need right now? Now, if a music supervisor is that's how, like right now I have a relationship with a guy that does all of the soap operas. And I called him and just asked him a simple question. What's your music license submission policy? And, you know, if there's any needs that you need, what do you need right now? And he told me I got a placement just like that. And so sometimes it's just about knowing how to contact people. Because a lot of these music supervisors, I mean, you know, they already have music at their disposal. So what you're really doing is establishing relationships. And that's what everything is built on, establishing a relationship. And you can find them on LinkedIn. You can watch TV and always look and copy down. I used to do this. Copy down music supervisors' names and then contact them on LinkedIn and then just establish that relationship and build. Eventually, you'll get a chance to submit your music. When they hear it, if your music is up to par, you get to the next level. But with Twitter, Instagram, and all of that, I mean, it's easy to find these music supervisors.
And let me warn you guys about how to position yourself to submit music on television. I'm gonna tell you the real game of getting placement. The first game is you need to have a lot of music. Second thing is you can't use certain sample libraries that you guys think you can use, like loops. When I went and got my first deal, I have an actual deal. They said, look, in the contract, you cannot use loops from these companies. And one of the companies was Big Fish Audio. And I was shocked because I'm like, wow, that's a huge company. And they said you cannot use loops from here because they're not royalty free. And a lot of these companies really aren't royalty free, but you don't know that. And the television can't use them. So that was one of the first shockers. I was like, what? They're not royalty free. You know what I'm saying? They say you can't use them. And the second thing was the amount of beats that I had to drop off. That's the other thing. Like, if you only got like 30 beats, I mean, you might not even waste your time. These guys, they're looking for libraries. So you have to drop off, you know, I think I dropped off 300-400 tracks. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what they pull from. So if you don't have that many tracks, then you better go and get you some loop packs and get some Kev loops and start making them, because you need a lot of tracks. And the last thing is they need change-ups in the beat. That's another thing that is different. They need a change-up. They need about, in a span of 1 minute and 30 seconds of a track, they want, you know, 3 good solid change-ups in the track. So you can't just use a track that has the same sound all the way through, you know, 24 bars of the same shit. They like to hear change-ups in the beat for a very specific reason. And another thing, I'm just giving you tips on how to actually get the placement. Chords are cool, but a lot of times they don't want a whole bunch of chords and shit because it doesn't translate well over television. So they want to hear a lot of different melodies going back and forth and whatnot. And another thing that you can do is drop off a lot of stuff that sounds like a top 40 hit, because they like to use those type, like, you know, they can't use a Beyonce track because they would cost way too much money to put it in a television show, but they would like to have a sound that sounds like that, and they'll play that in the show. You know what I'm saying? So those are just some tips that I can tell you to get you actually in the door and actually get your stuff actually placed once you get in the door.
And then one other last thing that I will say is you have to understand how to transition, just like he said, transition your beat. At the end, every beat has to have a stinger, what they call a stinger. And the stinger, they don't want you to just fade your beat out. They don't want the beat to just cut off. They want it to creatively end in a certain way. So, because I have a lot of deals now where companies only take the last 2 seconds of my music, just the stinger. So, you know, doing everything Postman just said and taking some of these tips that I just said, man, you'd be a TV genius.
Man, and I think a lot of people don't recognize that this is insider game. You know, like nobody told us this. Like this, once you get inside, then You know what I'm saying? Like then you kind of maneuver your way around. But a lot of this game is not being given. You're not getting this nowhere. And I know Kev, that video course Kev got. I'm gonna let them get an opportunity to get it as a bonus, Kev. I know you was giving it away as a bonus. He actually breaks down a little bit more in depth on the TV game. Every producer in here should be going after TV placements because there's a whole lot of television out there. There's a whole lot of shows, and they all need music, and they play music all throughout the show, and you get paid per second that you're per second that your music is on the air, and when they replay those episodes, you're getting paid. Like I still get paid from Kardashian work that I did because they play those shows all the time. You know what I'm saying? I also did, some documentary work, Doctors Behind Bars. I did Lockup. A lot of those MSNBC Lockup shows replay, so I get paid from that a lot. Kendra, her shows, just a lot of different shows, and so really take that to heart, man. I would say go after those TV placements. Kev, a lot of people are asking about this beast too. They hear us keep referring to it. If you could just talk a little bit about it, and I want to transition to. I know people are asking where they can get it at. I'll share the link with them. But what is the beast, Kev? Like, what did you put into that? Because I got it, and the producers that got it all have told me like, yo, this shit is ridiculous. Like, you ready to go from here to here, very quickly. They need to get their hands on that beast, and there's nothing out there like it. What exactly is the beast, Kev? Because I know we keep referring to it, but we never really broke down what it is.
Well, the beast is 685 sounds and loops and drum sounds. I think it's like 200 drum sounds, all exclusive, handcrafted from scratch, that is fresh to your ears. Brand new sounds that you've never heard. Your ears have never heard it, so you have no choice but to create something fire. And then there's, loops and genres. They're broken down in R&B, pop, trap, Dirty South, and I think I have a hip-hop folder in there. And then also, and every folder has the MIDI files. Now, other thing I was going to say about the MIDI files is through the MIDI files, for producers that think loops is cheating, the best thing you can do, especially if you're not a musician, is to get loops with MIDI files. Because if you look inside of the MIDI file, no matter what program you're using, and that's another thing, is the beast, you can use it in any program, but when you look at the MIDI file, you can look at the notes, the exact chords. So you can look at the exact chords and the same keys that I played using the MIDI notes. So you get the wave files, you get the MIDI notes, you get all of the tempo, and there's like over 300, I believe, melody loops. And then you also have drum loops. These are all exclusive handcrafted drum loops designed with you in mind. I mean, because, I know how it feels to sit there and you have a hit in your mind, but it's not coming sometimes. Sometimes, like you're trying to take it there, but it won't go there. And so I created the beast so you can release that inner beast. We all have an inner beast inside of us that it needs to be forced out. It needs to be pulled out. Doing the same things, listening to the wrong people will keep us in a box. We all desire, as music producers, to live off our beats. We all desire to be able to produce beats in our dream studios. And with the right tools, such as the beast, will pull some out of you that you didn't know that was really inside of you. And that's what this whole thing is about. And doing that, you have no choice but to take your music to the next level. You have no choice.
And one thing, too, Kev, about the beast that I noticed, too, is that even though you say 300 music loops, and they're all broken down into genres, tempos, MIDI files, and wave files, but every single loop has 3 loops to it. So really, you got 300 loop folders or 280 music loop folders, and every folder has 3 loops in it. I noticed that when I open the folder, there's actually 3 loops in one. So every loop really is 3 different loops. You got 3 different loops broken down. So really, it's more like 600-700 loops. I mean, like I said, I got that back in June, and I'm still haven't been through 1/3 of the entire stuff. I'm still pulling stuff out all the time, going right back to it. And those drum sounds are made by, because let's be honest, man. I just bought a drum pack. I'm a fiend. Like, I don't know, some producers, are different. I'm a fiend. Like, I'm a sound junkie. I'm not afraid to admit it. If someone asks me where do you spend most of your money at, it's on sound. But I'm a sound junkie. And I just bought a drum kit, and listen, man, it sounded just like the same shit that I, had bought 2-3 months ago. the same drums. It was actually a trap drum pack, which is my fault because I should have known. And I won't say the name, but it was a company that sent me an email blast about it. So I checked it out. So, I mean, are these drums original, man, or are you taking drums from other packs and putting them into the beast? Like, is it like recycled drums, or are they actually your drums? Like, are they unique?
Well, see, that was the biggest thing that I wanted to put into this was in the drums. The drums had to be all exclusive, which means they had to be drum sounds that you have physically never heard with your ears. Like, there is not one drum sound within the beast, 200 and something drum sounds, that you will find something that you've heard before. Everything is handcrafted, and it's all made exclusive. In fact, all of the recycled drums, I didn't use none of the recycled drums to even create the beats. This was all exclusive drums. So, you know, like, as music producers, we need exclusive drums. We need, like, there's something distinct about every music producer. Timbaland, there's something very distinct about his drums. Polo the Don, Hit Boy, there's something very distinct about their drums. Having exclusive drum sounds and exclusive drum loops made from scratch is a lot different than purchasing just recycled drums that somebody has made a hit with 5 years ago. There's no way that you can take a snare that's been used 5 years ago and keep creating hits with the same snare. There has to be something new. Music searches and desires a brand new sound every year. We're hearing DJ Mustard now, but soon we're gonna hear a brand new sound, and I guarantee it's gonna come from the beast.
Hey, I'm not would be surprised, because what I noticed too about them beat drums, when I load them in, I don't have to do a whole bunch of stacking and shit. Like, you know, I love to stack sometimes, but I own companies. You know what I'm saying? I own multiple companies. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have the time really when I'm trying to make a beat to sit there and fucking stack a bunch of drums. I need my shit hot out the plate. And what I liked about it is I can pull those drums and bang, that shit bust you right over the head. You know what I'm saying? Them kicks is like boom. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to spend a lot of time tweaking and stuff like that. So that was, and then the loops, man, I was surprised you gave all them loops out, man, because those are hit records that you put in there. And not only are they hit records, I can manipulate them and use them the way I want. So I could take one loop and make 20 different beats out of them, because I can change it. What I love to do is change the sound immediately. Because you got some loops that are like string loops that have strings and pianos, and I'll take the strings and I'll turn that to a synth right off the bat. Put a different instrument in there, and that shit changes automatically. I get inspired again. Sometimes I like to take the strings. One of my secrets, I take the strings, I turn to a choir, or I'll take a piano and then turn that to like a crazy synth, because a lot of times pianos sound good and not lead synths but poly synths. So because you know the piano, you do the chord and then the actual piano. Give me out some gain, like to make some fire. You take the piano loop that's in the beast and change it to a poly synth, because poly synth, you can play chords with those synths. And I mean, that shit, I mean, sometimes it takes me to places that, I mean, I couldn't even imagine making beats on that level.
And I think that's the whole reason I even created the beats, is because just like what you said, you couldn't imagine making beats on that level. Listen, every producer needs to get to the next level. We all need that thing that's going to keep us inspired, that thing that, I mean, with 600, really I would say even more, because like you said, every folder has 3 to 4 different loops. You can literally take one folder and make 5,000 beats, one folder, because of the way you can customize them and use the MIDI files. You can take the WAV files, change them into the MIDI files, create something. You can now use the MIDI files, chop them up like a sample, and create something. Then you can take one sound out of the whole loop pack, change it into a synth poly node, and now you're creating something totally different. And again, that's all in one folder. That's in one folder.
So let me ask you a question, Kev. If let's say I use it and I make some, because you know I sell beats for a living. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things that I do. So if I take it and I let's say I get a hit on the radio with a loop, and that's very possible with the loops in the beats, do I owe you any money? Am I going to worry about lawsuits or anything like that?
Well, that was a problem that I ran into. No, you don't owe me no money, because every loop is royalty free. I actually lost the placement that way. I used the loop and I couldn't get the placement because the loop was in there, and I lost out on money. I lost out on the opportunity, and they never came back again. So that's what's important. We want to, you know, like, we want to impress these A&Rs. We want to impress these people, but you have one time to mess up. One time. If you mess up that one time, it could be over. So you need to make sure that you hit a home run every time. We don't have no time for no base hits. You need to hit a home run every time. And with this beast, the beast that you're going to pull out of you, you're going to create a home run every time.
So okay, also, so we're going to give everybody here opportunity to get their hands on the beast. Right now, I'm telling you right now, if you're a music producer, you got to get that. Now, Kev, I know you got some bonuses too for the producers. Now, this is where everybody need to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? This is where everybody asking about how to get those major placements. Kev, I know you got that major placement magic, that video course explaining all about how to get major placements, telling them exactly what major placements entail, how to copyright the beats and whatnot. Tell them a little bit about what they get with the major placement course, because we got a lot of questions about major placements, and you have a video course they're going to get with the beats immediately as a bonus. What give us maybe 1 or 2 things that you're going to teach them in that video about major placements?
Well, I show you one of the most important things and one of the most important keys to my success, which is choosing a manager. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people, like, it used to feel good to me as a producer growing up saying that, yeah, I want a manager. I want a manager. That sounds good. But a lot of these managers don't really know what they're doing. So I show you in there that you don't just want anybody. You don't want just your homie that just graduated from school that want to be your manager. You need someone that's connected. And that's going to have to take you networking. That's going to have to take you being in different places. And, you know, and then I show you a few other, you know, secret things in there, man, you know, that you have to get it in order to see.
So when they get the beast with all the 500 sounds and music loops, also you give them the platinum pack with another 40 music loops on top of the beast, the King Tut loop pack with another 40 music loops, the Killer Keys piano loops with another 25 loops, and then you also got something called the TV Music Miracle. So everybody's asking about TV music. If they get the beast right now, then they're going to be able to get this TV Music Miracle. What exactly is in that?
The TV Music Miracle kind of just breaks down everything you need to know. You know, a lot of people want to know how to set up the publishing. You know, I mean, first of all, if you're a music producer trying to get people went wrong. And see, it's a lot of music producers don't understand that you have to be registered with either ASCAP, BMI, or CSAC. They have a lot of other ones, but those are the 3 main ones. I know I'm a member of ASCAP, and I show you things like how to copyright your music, and you know, and then I show you, you know, like why it's important to copyright your music and why it's not. It might not be important to copyright your music. So, you know, there's a lot of things, and I show you examples of a stinger, how to create a stinger. What is a stinger? The creative ending on your music. I'll show you a lot of stuff in there.
Okay. And Kev, you also got beat making videos and tutorials in there. You got I see you got 7 beat making videos, tutorials along with it. So are those you just kind of making beats and showing them different tricks on how to take their music to the next level?
How to import these loops in your program. You know, how to, you know, different things about transitions, different things about different beat rules, and, you know, different tips and tricks basically to take your music production to the next level.
And so they can get all that right now as we're on this. They can download all these loops, all these files. Now I want to throw in some, Kev. I know I didn't ask you this before, but would you be willing to do a special private stream with everyone who gets the beats right now? So if you have the beats right now, we'll do a private. Now this one's public, where there's 150 producers on it, but you know, maybe every next month we'll do a private one for just the producers who have the beats, where they can ask questions. We'll give out contacts information, and also in that TV play, don't you give out 7 places where they can submit music as well? I know you have. So if you, let's say, where do I send my stuff right now to get on TV? In that TV Music Miracle, what you're going to get with the beats right now, you get 7 places you can get your beats tonight and send them out to get them on TV tonight. But how would you feel about that, having a private stream just for the customers of the beats?
That'll work, man. I mean, I'm all down for it, man, just to help music producers get to the next level, because I know how it was coming up. You know, we feel alone sometimes. And I mean, you know, that's what the Big Homie is here for, to help you get to the next level, because we can all have this. We can all be living our dreams. We all can. But so yeah, man, I'm ready.
Okay, so everybody's asking, where do you get the beats at? Where do we get the beat? So if you go to www, oh, here's another thing. Everybody who gets the beats right now in the next 10 minutes, we put up a thing where you get $50 off. So just for being on the Hangout, it's automatically deducted. You get $50 off the beats. If you get it right in the next 10 minutes, it's automatically deducted. It'll say one price on the website, but once you click into it on the order form, it'll automatically take $50 off just for being on the Ustream. And you get all the stuff that we just talked about, plus a private stream that we'll do next month just for people who get the beats right now. So if you get it right now, you get all those things, the videos, you get the 685 loops and sounds that take your music to the next level. You get the TV Music Miracle, where he's showing you exactly how to set up all your publishing, where you can send the music right now. You also get the major placements, where it shows you exactly how to get major placements, how to get a manager, all those things. And as well, you get the live stream, private stream, just for the beats customers, and you'll be able to showcase your beats, with the feedback, also the connections and different things on how to take your music and career to the next level. And right now, you get $50 off for the next 10 minutes. So I mean, you can't beat that. So if you go to luxuryloops.com, I'll put in the chat thing here, but it's luxuryloops.com/the beast. So that's, I'll share it right now so everybody can get it. I just shared it. Was luxuryLoops.com/the beast/the beast.html. Now the beast, the T is capital and the B is capital as well. So if you're trying to get to it, you say, hey, it didn't go through. It's luxuryloops.com/the beast with a capital T and a capital B. The is capitalized and beast is capitalized. .html. Now we're trying to share it with you here, but I don't think they have a way for us to really share it. So I wish we could be able to share a little bit better, but that's it right there. I'll share it again. If you're in the if you're on the actual screen, it should show up at the top there. You'll see it. It'll say luxuryloops.com/thebeast.html. Let me see. It should show up. There. We'll get to some more questions as well, but I just want to make sure and make sure you guys get that before we get off here. Let's see. I wonder if we can do it this way. More questions. Well, but I just want to make sure you guys get that before we get off. Let's see. Do it this way. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to pin it to the top. So it's www.luxuryloops.com/ We got so many questions. Great questions too.
Yeah, I see them coming in.
Yeah, we got about 1 million questions. So it's luxuryloops.com. And like I said, if next 10 minutes, $50 off, you get all that, and we're gonna have a private stream. I'm telling you, if you ain't got the beast, man, you tripping, man. Go on there, you'll see all the testimonials and everything. I just feel so passionate about it. Just because, man, just how much that impacted my music production, man. And so I want to get some questions, but like I said, get that beast right now. You get in the next 10 minutes, we'll shoot you $50 off. Everybody who already had, a lot of producers in here already got the beast too. If you already got it, you'll be on the private stream as well. Don't worry, you get the private stream. Everybody who has the beast, we'll do a private stream just for you guys. That's luxuryloops.com/thebeast, capital T, capital BEAST.html.
I can't wait to hear some of the fire, man, that they're gonna create, man, because producers been sending me some heat, man. They've been using the beats, and it's like, man, I mean, it's just a good feeling that producers are really getting inspired and staying inspired, man. That's just that. I mean, it's a huge feeling to even, you know, it's just huge to even see it happening like this, man.
So what are some of the feedback you got from producers who actually use the beats and put it? I mean, have they talked about improving their sound and whatnot?
Well, I had one dude, you know, he was saying that, you know, he sent some beats off one week. He bought the beast, and he sent a different set of beats off to the same artist, and they changed every song they had on their album and started fresh with him. Now, mind you, the week before, they didn't want none of his beats. They said maybe one day, and I actually got a video up on that. And, you know, just music producers are saying that they didn't know that being this creative was even possible. You know, a lot of music, and then a lot of music producers that also said that, you know, they never used loops before in their life. And what it's done to their music has impacted, you know, just, I mean, now they make beats like never before. Music producers have gotten their first placements, have sold their first beats. I mean, you know, and all of this is happening, and I mean, it just feels, it's crazy. I mean, and then there was a few producers that told me that they never understood how to play piano chords until they start using the MIDI files within the beats. And now they understand and put together chords as a musician, and they've never been able to do that before. So, I mean, I get all kind of feedback, man, and I mean, it's phenomenal, man.
It's funny because I get the same feedback as well. And actually, one of my beats, believe it or not, all I did was slide in one of your drum loops because I had a hot beat already, so I just slid in one of your drum loops, man. And the feedback I've been getting on that track has been crazy. Like, some people say that could be a hit single for Flow Rider. Now, I ain't gonna play it on this joint right here because I don't want to buy it. You know what I'm saying? But that's how crazy you actually put hit records in the beats, man. And so, you know, let's wrap it up. I mean, I know we got about 2 minutes left. It's about to be 8 o'clock, man. If there's any last things you want to say, a lot of producers a lot of producers got that beats right now. Remember, everybody gets the beats in the next 10 minutes. It's automatically $50 off. So whatever price you see on the website, $50 is automatically taken off, and you're going to be able to be a part of the live stream, our private stream that we're going to do just for people who got their hands on that beast.
As far as, you know, last couple things, I just want to say, you know, like, first of all, I thank, you know, every music producer that has even, you know, purchased anything and has ever even just been in the community. And, you know, I appreciate you because you keep me going. This feedback that I get from music producers on the beast, you know, being able to sell their first beat, being able to get more placements, being able to finally get the attention of A&Rs, it makes me step my game up. And it makes me want to be a better producer to create better stuff for the music producers to be able to use to get to the next level. So you guys play just as much of a part in this as I do, because this feedback and the testimonials, this is what keeps my fire going. Somebody selling their first beat, never selling a beat before. I mean, like, imagine your first beat. What did that do for you? And it's just like producers are selling their first beats, getting their first television placement. I have another producer that just got a deal with a music supervisor, and he wanted me to let him know how should he work it from here. He went from not having no television placements to now having a deal with a music supervisor exclusively, where he gets upfront and back end money using the beast. So I say, you know, this investment that music producers have been taking has already paid forward. They've received their money back quickly. It was a quick turnaround. Now, you know, I'm not going to say it's going to happen for everybody.
Yeah, your video looks like it went out, Kev, for a second.
Oh, hello?
Yeah, but it's back. So I want to say this. So a producer said this legitimately say, yo, so this was all a setup to sell the beast. I'll say no, man. I mean, you got some free information. You got a lot of good information. But, I mean, you know, we're taking our time out to do this. I really believe in the beast. Like, I really believe it's something that take you to the next level. So to say that, I think it's unfair, man. I think it's selfish for a producer to just say, hey, man, you know, oh, man, I just, you know, don't sell me nothing. Hey, man, we're just offering something that'll take you to the next level. I mean, Kev put his whole heart and soul and months of work into this. I mean, why not offer it to you to help take your career to the next level? You know what I mean? I mean, you know, if you don't want to invest in yourself, then, I mean, you're not going nowhere as a producer, no way. You don't mind if Guitar Center, they don't get on here and help you and give you free information. And so now it's just like, oh, well, they trying to sell me something. Of course, we're going to offer you something that can take you to the next level, and why wouldn't you take it, man? So it's not all a setup just to sell you something. I mean, how much free information did you just get out of 2 hours of us sitting here for free? You know what I'm saying? So you should be honored and feel like, hey, man, these guys really helped me, especially Kev, man. This ain't even about me. This is Kev's stuff. Kev sat here and took his time out, man. How many other super producers take their time out to really give you free information? And I'm speaking on behalf of Kev because, I mean, it's just unfair when I see other producers. Here's a guy right here who put his heart and soul and his time and his energy and his life into this, and you as a producer would dare disrespect this man right here and come and say, oh, well, he's just trying to sell with a sad face. You know what I mean? I mean, that's bullshit to me, man. And this brother right here, Kev, he's a master of what he does. And for free, I couldn't get Timberland on here to give you this for free for 2 hours. I can't get Dr. Dre, but you'll go spend $400 on his headphones, but he won't sit here for 2 hours giving you his secrets and information. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm just speaking on behalf of Kev because I told Kev I want to offer something that, you know what, I can't pay him for doing this interview. So, hey, let me offer him something, offer the people something that they can get their hands on where Kev can be compensated and you get something worth way more than what you pay for it, man. So I think that, you know, us as producers got to support each other, man. We can't just have that poor ass mentality thinking, oh, man, if they only get to it for free, man. We can't think like that because Guitar Center making millions and they ain't sitting here with you teaching you how to do a damn thing. You understand what I'm saying? So respect, Kev, man. I need support. Get that beast. Is well worth it, man. Get the beast. You know, don't be a punk ass dude, man. Just be like, oh, man, you know, I don't want to, you know, just like a little bitch, man. And you say, Post, you going in? Of course, man, because that really hurts me to see. Here's a brother I called and said, Kev, do me a favor. Let's do something for the producing community for free. And when he tries to offer something that he's put his life and soul into to help you, you get an attitude of, hey, man, you know, don't try to sell me. You know what I mean? I don't think that's right, man. I think we should be donating. You know, I for one, would put up a collection plate to get this type of game. And he's giving it out for free, man. So I think every producer on here should be supporting and should be downloading the beast. And it's not like you're giving him money for nothing. I mean, that beast is worth 100 times what you're going to invest in. You're not buying it. You're investing in your own sound. If you get a placement from the beast, one placement alone paid for it 20 times over. So, you know, don't be an asshole, you know, and an underappreciative producer, man, for guys like Kev who take the time out. Yeah, me, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You say whatever you want. But I told this brother to come on here and spend his 2 hours away from his family and give his secrets to help you develop. So I just take offense to that you would come at this brother like that when he's trying to really just give you something to really continue your education and help you. You don't go in Guitar Center and get a free keyboard and they charge you $3,000 and don't help you do anything. So I just wanted to go ahead and put that in check, man. I know Kev is not like that. Kev is like, man, Post, don't go in on him like that. But that's who I am, because I'm passionate about this here. So that's what I feel. You know, every producer should have that beast in their arsenal, man. And why wouldn't you get something that's going to invest in something that's going to take you to that next level? Why wouldn't you do that if you say you serious producer? You say all these things, you get on these streams, you'll get somebody's information for free, but then you won't, when they say, here's what you can do to take you to the next level for practically nothing, a small investment, and you won't do that, then what will you do? You just gonna bullshit. You ain't trying to be no successful producer. Just keep it real. I'm successful. I got plenty of businesses. I got major placements. I got TV placements. I got companies all over the world that sell products to producers and to artists. I sell beats. So, I mean, I know what I'm talking about. You got to invest in yourself, and you got to be the type of person to, if someone gives you, you got to be saying, hey, you know what? I appreciate giving you something, because people will appreciate giving you their money when you try to sell them a beat. Think about your attitude determines your latitude. And if you got a bad attitude about helping other producers that help you, think about how A&R, you think that karmic energy, when you hit up an A&R, they're going to say, oh, man, I'm glad to help you out and work with. No, they're going to give you the same attitude you're giving to other people. And that's why a lot of you guys haven't reached the success that you want to, because your mindset is not where it needs to be. You understand what I'm saying? And if you got that type of mindset, don't worry, you ain't going nowhere anyway. You're going to be stuck in the same place you've been, because it's when you elevate your mindset and have a heart of wanting to give to people. We did this for free. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting paid to help producers on this thing, but I know that me putting this energy here and to give to the community, I'm going to get that back in other ways. So you got to understand law of attraction and understand that we're all in one universe. So the energy you give here is going to come back to you in the form of when you try to elevate and get other people to buy your product, which is your beats. When you try to get A&Rs listen to your music, don't worry. The energy you put out, you're going to get back. So that's what the A&R going to say. Like, oh, man, you trying to sell me a beat? Give me your beats for free. That's what the A&R going to tell you. You're going to say, why is that? Because when you, on this area of your life, you doing that to everybody else. And you wonder why you can't get ahead. Yeah, I just went in because that's what Postman do. So if you know Postman, then you know this is what I do anyway. You know what I'm saying? Check my credentials. You understand what I'm saying? I know what I'm talking about. I done coached thousands of music producers, so I know what makes you successful. And it's the ones that got that open mind and heart of giving that's going to receive. So, Kev, I know I went in on them. You know, I know you're a humble dude. You wasn't going to go in like that. Don't matter. You just want to help. And I'm the same way. But I had to go in and let them know, man, like, yo, this brother right here is really serious and dedicated to the craft, and everybody should have that beast in their arsenal, man, because it really is that good. And even the information and game you give in the beast, as well as the loops, man, will take them to the next level. So you need to get that right now, man. Don't waste time. Don't bullshit no more with your life and your music career. Go ahead and take it to the next level. Yeah, it's an investment. Well, invest in. You'll go out and spend money on everything else, but you won't invest in your own career. You won't invest and get you to the next level in your own life. Well, then don't sit there and bullshit yourself. You ain't going no goddamn where. This man got 2 video courses in that beast right now that's going to tell you how to get to the next level as far as placements and the next level as far as where to send your music on television. That alone, you should be getting it. Just because you just said you was hungry and you want to know how to get major placements, he got a video course laying it out for you. So if you seriously an ambitious person, you think Dr. Dre, when he was young, if somebody said, here's how you get placements, and he didn't know, you think he would have jumped on that immediately? You understand what I'm saying? You think he wouldn't invest it immediately if he said, hey, this is how you get television music. Oh, that's how you become successful. You jump on it and you just hungry like a pit bull. That's what it is. You understand what I'm saying? So you can sit back lazy, oh, man, nah, but then let's see where you're going to be next year. I already know. I coach music producers for 7 years now, 8 years now. And I see the ones that been successful. I got guys who got signed to Maybach Music. Then got all the stuff that I done put out. So I know. He just got shout out to Maybach Rico if he on here. Producers who got a gang of major placement, because I watched them evolve. They invested in themselves over and over and over again. The ones that sit there and just want to get free stuff all the time and don't invest, I watched them year after year struggle. 8 years now. They've been struggling for 8 years that I've been coaching them. Looking at them. Go, man, I don't know. I'm saying, well, because it's here. You won't invest in yourself. You won't invest in your sound. You won't invest in your knowledge. Then you think you finna get to the next level. You a goddamn fool. You understand? You fooling yourself. But if you are the type of person say, you know what, I'm going to make that evolution today. There ain't no tomorrow. Ain't about yesterday. Ain't about tomorrow. What you going to do right now? If you ain't signed up for that beast and got that beast and downloading it right now, that tell you where you're going to be next year. It's January. So that tell you where you're going to be next year. You ain't got to ask nobody. Just look and see. That's where you're gonna be. Wherever you at right now. If you ain't investing, I just spent $250 on the program. Kev just bought Reason 8. You understand? You got the package with you right there, Kev?
Yeah. Actually, I just got Reason 8 and Record.
Look, that's in. Go ahead, put it up there. My bad, Kev. Go ahead.
Reason 8.
Say something so the camera get on you.
Oh. Yeah, I got Reason 8 and I got Record. So, you know, I'm always investing in myself. Always. Only way to get to the next level.
Is that some downloaded shit off the internet? There's some crack software?
Nah, this is straight out the plastic. Never been opened. I opened it. Never been used. That's the only way I buy my stuff. Brand new. This one, I ain't even opened this one yet. So.
Yeah, because it's circuit. And is it a coincidence that he has all this success? He's worked with Dark. When you went to Dark Child Studio, did they have a bunch of bootleg stuff, or did he have over $1 million invested in that studio when you worked with Dark Child?
Man, every studio, they had like 40 to 50 studios in the building, and every studio had maybe a couple $1 million worth of equipment in it. Keyboards and sounds that I've never heard and never seen in my life. They have the best of the best up there.
And that's a success secret. People think that producers don't get it, though. They don't understand energy. They don't understand law of attraction and laws of the universe. That's energy. What you put out, you will get back multiplied. That's why Kev couldn't bootleg that Reason 8, because then he would, in the back end, he not cheating Reason 8. He ain't cheating Propeller Head. He's cheating his own life. You understand what I'm saying? And what we invest, what we put in, we get out multiplied. That's why I just spent $250. I bought Reason. I ain't got my package with me right now. I stay investing in my sound. I stay buying new stuff because I know whatever I'm putting out, I'm getting back. You know what I'm saying? That money coming back 10 times fold because I'm investing in my craft, and that craft gonna pay me for the rest of my life. So you got to understand that. Now, Post, why are you doing it? Because I'm a success teacher. So, okay, I couldn't help but if I got 100 people in front of me to get in the real game on success, because that's what it's about. It is about your grind, but you'll find that you'll go around in circles if you're not reinvesting in yourself. If you're not reinvesting in your craft, and you can't fool the universe. Yeah, you think you behind closed doors, but that's okay, because you'll see the karmic work in action. So like I said, when you invest in this beach, you can change the course of your entire year just by investing in this beach right now, by improving to the universe that you want to invest in your gift and developing your craft and getting the knowledge and information. I just spent $250 on a marketing course, on a CD, on some CD. Just spent $250. Nothing. I don't give a fuck. Whatever it costs, I'm going to spend it. Because why? Because it's not spending, it's investing. You understand what I'm saying? People go buy PS4s, came out, they spent $400 a piece on that PS4, not investing in their career. Went and bought PS4 plus games was $500. Standing in line to spend $500 on a damn video game, but won't spend $400 to increase their craft and developing themselves where they're going to get to the next level in their career and in their life, man. That's some sad shit, and that's the way we program. So when somebody say, oh, man, why are you trying to sell me this, man? Because this is something that's going to help you. We're not selling to you, we're selling for you. I'm trying to get you to get something that's going to get you to the next level. Why wouldn't you want that? You got to soul search in yourself and figure out why wouldn't you want something that's going to get you to the next level. That means that you ain't trying to get there. That means you've been bullshitting your whole life, and you're going to bullshit for the next year and crying and telling people, oh, man, it's luck, I don't understand, while me and Kev still going higher and higher. This has been the best January I done ever had. I'm crushing it all across the board. Why is that? Is that an accident? Am I smarter than you? No. I apply the laws of the universe to my life, which is I give. That's why I gave here for 2 hours, over 2 hours. I said, Kev, let's give. Let's give for free. We don't expect nothing in return. Even if you don't invest, if nobody invests, we still gave. So that's going to come back to us. What did you give? You won't even give your money to somebody that helped you and it's going to give you something in return. What did you give? You understand what I'm saying? Because that's what you're going to get back. So you'll know when your shit ain't, you're short, your shit ain't going right in your life, and your career ain't happening. You know you're not giving enough. You've been stingy. You know you've been a stingy-hearted person. That's why the universe can't flow nothing to you. Now I'm dropping some real goddamn game because I got it. And I'm a success coach. I done help producers all over the world. All over the world come to me, and super producers. I done help them as well. And producers with major placements that you dreaming about. And I done help Kev too. Kev know, you know what I'm saying? I done help Kev. And Kev applied these principles, and look where he at now. I remember Kev, you know what I'm saying? I'm not putting you out there, but when you first came online, you know what I'm saying? I was like, Kev, you got the major placements on lock. Let's transition into the online game. And he did that successfully, man. And now he's even up in the ante online. Am I right, Kev?
Oh yeah, man. I'm taking my thing to the next level, man. I mean, I'm not talking. I'm making it happen. And I mean, it came from me understanding that very concept, investing in myself. Once I started investing in myself, it's about learning and getting things that I don't have to pull something out of me that I didn't know existed. And once I was able to do that, I mean, stuff is just happening. It's just happening. I'm not even where I was chasing it before. I'm not chasing it. It's coming. I'm not chasing it no more. So it's like, man, you kind of choose what side you want to be on. Sometimes you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, but that decision is on you. And I made that decision, so, you know.
All right, man. So I just went in, man. You know, I just love this shit, man. I love chopping game with producers, man. Again, if you ain't got the beast all serious, man, you got to get your hands on that shit. I'm not playing. The shit is a beast. www.luxuryloops.com/thebeast with a capital T and a capital B, thebeast.html. And you need to get on that now. And again, you get $50 off for being on the stream. And at the end, everybody who gets the beast, we're gonna do a private stream just for the people with the beast, giving real private game on how to get to that next level, get placements, sell your beats, and really game that ain't nobody got for you, ain't gonna give you nowhere. Only those who invested in the beast are we gonna really take time to give that real game. Like maybe we'll give you some actual phone numbers to call in order to get your stuff out there, because we well connected. And believe that, we well connected, but we're not gonna give it out to everybody who ain't going to invest in themselves. What I look like giving you some real connections to people who won't even invest in themselves. And you could contact that A&R, contact that person. And I got some real producer managers who got major placements who's looking for producers. And you tell them I sent you, they'll pay attention. But what I look like sending some clowns over there that won't even invest in themselves, they're going to hit me like, yo, why are you sending people who ain't professional, who ain't even serious? So this is the real test. Are you serious? How do we know? You won't even invest in yourself and in your sound. How do we know? You understand it? So people on this private stream, you're gonna get some stuff. If you imagine what we gave you for free here, imagine what the private stream we're gonna be like next month when it's just me and Kev talking to the people who've actually invested. Think about the type of game we're gonna drop there. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Again, www.luxuryloops.com/thebeast, capital THEBEAST.html. We'll email you a link with it. And I mean, it's just like I said, you need to get your hands on that. Stop playing, man. That's it. That's all I got to say, Kev. You got the final words, man. I love everybody being on here. I just love this shit, man. If y'all don't know who Postman is, look me up. LiveOffBeast.com, Kev, LuxuryLoops.com. Y'all ain't last final words, man, and we off this bitch.
Man, you know, I appreciate everybody for being on. You know, I appreciate everything. One more thing, applying what you learn. Anybody can listen to something. Anybody can learn something. Applying what you learn is where you see real success. Invest in yourself. And I see those that invest, I see you on the private stream. And, man, you know, we're going to chop game again.
All right, man. No doubt, man. Love all the producers. Had to get serious with y'all, man. Really, no, be successful, man. Be successful. Stop bullshitting with your life, man, and do it. Let's take your career to the next level because you can do it. So that's all I'm going to say is do it. Let's do it. Do it. Okay, do everything that you can, everything within your power to be successful right now. Do that, man. So we'll holler at y'all, man. Love y'all, man. Love this shit, man. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm an old man now, and I was young when I started. So I'm not playing no more with producers. Yeah, get this shit, get to the next level, man. You can do it, but you got to get off your ass. You got to stop being on the fence. You got to stop bullshitting and just scoundering like a little rat. You got to say, you know, I'm gonna focus and really put my everything into everything I got into being successful at this music production shit, and by laws of the universe it's gonna happen, man. So that's it, man. Peace out. Catch y'all later, man. We finna be up out of here. Everybody be successful, man. Peace.